I do have a message, and that message is very simple. Do not give up. That is my message today. Do not give up. I feel somebody needs to hear that very timely message right now. Do not give up. Because this is a message we all need to hear. Every single one of us, from myself, preaching it to myself. Do not give up. Do not give up. And when I think of do not give up, right, when I think of those words, I think of the word persistence. Persistence is a firm or obstinate continuance in a course of direction despite difficulty or opposition, right? And when you look at that word obstinate, it's like a stubborn, firm continuance. Like, I am moving forward despite this storm. Like in Southern California, we are getting rain like we haven't gotten before. I don't even remember this much rain in my lifetime. Maybe since like sixth or eighth grade, I remember it pouring like this. But every single day, I mean, there's some spots in my home I'm having to like patch up. We're getting so much rain and we're getting a storm, right? But the storm is making us better, right? California's been in a drought for some time now. On the freeway, they conserve water, right? You can't even do swim parties and stuff these days without being frowned upon because we're in a drought. So we need the storm. So while we gotta take out our umbrellas, we gotta take out our rain boots, and I know some people on the East Coast are like, you guys are spoiled over there in California, or Southern California rather, if all y'all gotta worry about is some little drizzle and some rain, right? I'm not even talking about snow. I'm just talking about showers, right? But you know, everybody's storm is relative. And when I think about not giving up, I think about persistence. And you know why so many people give up so quickly, right? It's mindset. I've already talked about mindset. And here's what we're doing. We're thinking about how much there is to go. We're seeing how far we're away from where we're supposed to be. We're looking at how far the destination is off, you know, way out of sight. And we become discouraged. We become defeated because we've got our eyes so much on the prize and it's so far away, or sometimes just, you know, we feel like we're underground and the destination just getting above ground is so far away, right? And we become to get discouraged and defeated, and our mind plays tricks on us instead of focusing on how far we've come, right? Can I get a light that if we actually took inventory, which is a word I like to use a lot, and we're gracious and use gratitude to understand that, yeah, we might not be where we want to be, like my grandma would always tell me, but you know what? We got to be thankful that we are not what we used to be, and it could be worse. It could be worse. So on this road, right, you're going to come across storms and bad weather, and you're going to come across different seasons of life, right? But instead of focusing on how far you've got to drive, oh gosh, we're 1,000 miles away and I can't even see out of my front window. How are we gonna make it, right? But you ought to look back and say, you know what, but we've already come 500 miles on this journey, on this road trip. Look how far we've come, right? My grandma in church, they would say, we've come too far to turn around now, right? How many people have that testimony that you've come too far to turn around now? If you actually look at where you've come, where you've been, what you've been through, what you've already survived, how you're already a warrior, you're already a champion, you're already a gladiator, you've already succeeded, right? It may not be where you want, but you already have done it, right? And you can keep on. You can keep going. And so I want to share a story. I want to share a story about a father and a daughter. And the daughter was driving and the father was in the front seat. And it was just a typical day until they came upon an area that was storming. I mean, storming. And the daughter, the young lady, looks at the father and says, "What should I do, Dad?" And the father looks back at the daughter and says, "Keep driving." So she keeps driving. But y'all, I don't know if you've been in these conditions, but the rain gets so harsh. I mean, it gets so bad she can barely see. The windshield wipers are doing it no justice. And soon she starts seeing other cars pull over. And so again, she looks at her father, right? And you know, this is when you got to put both hands on the steering wheel. And she looks at her father and she says, Dad, it's getting bad. You see cars are pulled over. What should I do? And the father says, "Daughter, keep driving. Don't give up. Just keep driving." So daughter, with her father's help, you know, and encouraged, she keeps those hands on the steering wheel and she keeps driving. But now, I mean, it's getting bad. It's getting so bad, it's not only raining now, it's foggy. And she can't even see forward more than a few yards. And now she notices the 18-wheel trucks, the big ones, the ones my grandma's scared of. Anytime I'm driving with her and we're next to a tractor truck, oh, man, pull over, man, get over, man. I'm like, Grandma, I got this. I'm in my lane. Stay in your lane. That's another message, right? So now she's seeing even the professional truck drivers, they're pulled over to the side of the road. And she looks over at Dad one more time. She says, Dad, even they're pulled over. What do you want me to do? And he turns back. He says, my daughter, do not give up. I want you to keep on driving. And so she keeps those hands on the steering wheel. And she drives, she keeps going. It gets harsh, but she keeps going. She keeps driving. She keeps moving forward. She keeps progressing. And soon she notices that she can see. She can see a little bit more clearly, right? And then a few more miles, and now she's on dry land. Because, you know, storms are relative. Like, you know, the clouds, they do end. Right? They're not infinite. It's storming here, but it's not storming somewhere else, you know? So soon the storm subsides. She gets through the storm, and now the father says, stop the car and get out. And the daughter says, well, why now, Dad? We didn't already, we should have got out back then. Why now? And this is what he said. He says, when you get out, I want you to look back, and I want you to see all the people who stopped. I want you to see all the people who pulled over and that are still in the storm because they didn't keep going. And now we are out of the storm and our storm is over now. I think there's a song that says your storm is over now, right? And that was a lesson for that daughter, that if she would only keep driving, that she could get through that storm, that it didn't look like that storm would ever end, like that storm would ever subside, but that storm subsided and she was able to get through it. And still looking at the poor folks that had pulled over, they're in the storm. They're experiencing the storm. They're right there in the thick of it, right? But she had kept going. And that's my message to you. I need you to keep going. I know it's stormy. I know it's cloudy. I know conditions are bad. I know the meteorologists or whatever are predicting even more bad weather, but I need you to keep going. And the message is for me. We just need to keep going, right? And fear will stop us from going forward, right? And there's two things that you can do with fear, right? It has two meanings to me. The first meaning is forget everything and run, right? That's what a lot of people do. As soon as that storm, let's leave this car parked, let's forget everything and run. They run away from the storm. They run away from the obstacle, the challenge, the situation, the showdown. Forget everything and run. But there's another definition of fear that I want you to embrace, and that's face everything and rise, right? Face everything and rise. I'm telling you, you can rise, and you can rise above the storm. You can rise through the storm. You can do it, but I want you to keep going. That's persistence. Robert Schuller, I was blessed to be married in Robert Schuller's church in Garden Grove, not too far from where I live. And he said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Who is tough out there? Let me see the number of people that are tough, and you've been through some tough stuff, but that tough stuff has just made you even tougher. That tough stuff has made you even stronger. Like that butterfly that has to get out of that cocoon and chrysalis, you press your way through that cocoon, that small little hole, you press your way through. And because you press your way through, you got stronger. That butterfly, I'm telling you, go back to that video, because that butterfly does not fly. It does not. It cannot fly unless it presses through that small little hole, because there's some liquid in the stomach of the butterfly that unless it presses, unless it squeezes, unless it's pressured, that liquid makes its way slowly into those wings, and that's how it gets its power. If you make it easy for the butterfly, like the little boy wanted to do in the story, he cut the slit and the butterfly fell out. It wasn't ready to fly. That power hadn't been transferred. And I'm telling you, your storms are that way. You have to go through them. The weather has to be that way. It has to in your life. And my storm ain't going to be your storm. But I'm telling you, if you stay on the road, if you keep driving, I'm telling you, that storm will subside and there's no traffic past that extra mile. And that is the message for you today.